Of the Perry House Foundation, and we'd like to welcome you today to the doorway to Stratford, the Perry House, this beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon. I would like to acknowledge some of our dignitaries here. We have, I believe, Jason Santee, who is the councilman from District 5. Four. Okay. Sorry, District 4. District 3, Stephanie Phillips. And I don't know if there are any other councilmen here or state legislators. We may have Laura Hoydick here in a while. Is she here?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Laura is actually on the board of the Perry House, so we expect that she'll be here as well. The foundation is really very proud to be the venue for the kickoff of this year-long 375th anniversary celebration of the town of Stratford. The Perry House itself was built about 1690, so it is about almost 325 years old. And so it's interesting that it was built about 50 years after the beginning of settlement of the town of Stratford. Since it was built, the homestead has gone through several structural changes. It was built as an English-style home initially, with 2 parlors in the front, which you see in the front, and 2 chambers up above. About 1740, Isaiah Brown added this keeping room that we're in here right now, and it changed the configuration of the house on the outside to be more of a salt box. And really, it stayed that way for about 200 years. There weren't any changes to the structure itself until Mrs. Murphy, who was then owner, raised the roof, added the second story, and made it into a colonial-style home. So we have some docents here today. If you're interested in a longer tour, we would be pleased to take you around and show you the house. We ourselves are pleased this year that we're celebrating our 10th year anniversary as the Perry House Foundation. In 1997, actually in 1981 was when Mrs. Murphy had passed away, and at the time she left the house to the town. It had been divided into 3 apartments, and the town held it for a while and rented it out as apartments, but about 1997 it became clear it just wasn't going to work anymore. There were code issues, and the town fortunately made the decision. I see some of our councilmen that were involved back then, made the decision to keep the house, to restore it. The foundation was formed to be able to manage it on a day-to-day basis. Probably our proudest accomplishment in the last 10 years is the program that we've developed in partnership with the Stratford Historical Society. Glad to see Carol here today, where we have students from the 3rd and the 5th grade classes come into the home and to learn something about the history of the community. And that's a great program. We have around 1,200 children a year that come through these doors through that program. In 2005, Mayor Harkins, in a previous role as the state representative, was able to secure funding for the addition, the first $225,000 towards that addition, which is in the back. It's taken us 9 years to get here. There were archaeological digs, all kinds of trials and tribulations, but we managed through, and we're hoping very shortly to be able to invite you back for a ribbon cutting for the addition, which we're very proud of. So we could go on and on, but today we're really here to kick off the celebration of the 375th anniversary of, which number was it? It just looks so young in the community, who would ever thought? Of the town of Stratford. So I don't think there's anybody who could speak better about the town of Stratford and its history than our mayor, Mayor John Harkins. John, we appreciate your support all along.
And just to put things in perspective, I was 41 when I got that grant. I'm now 50. Time does move slower sometimes, and I just shake my head. I never thought I'd see the day. And congratulations. I still think Perry House will do anything to give any reason to have a party or a fundraiser. So if you invite you back for a ribbon cutting, something to be titled. State Representative Laura, I think it's here. Holy smokes. My favorite state representative, thank you so much for being here. Of course, you're on the board of Perry House. You have been for years. But it's a great place, and what really makes Perry House is the board. And they make it fun, they make it interesting, whether doing events or having children come through here and tour, or just being part of our community. So I thank you all, Perry House board members, for doing what you do. I'd like to thank Amy Noor and Mary Dean, the co-chairs of our 375th anniversary. Amy Noor. She does not have her Dawson outfit on today, but she's But 375 is very special, and there aren't many towns that are this old, and it's very unique, and we're celebrating it here in Stratford. We have a lot of things going on. We decided to kick it off in the spring. We're doing Restaurant Week this week, which starts today and runs through till next Saturday, but we're going to do a lot of other things. We're going to have banners down Main Street. We're going to have a parade in the fall. We're going to do an oyster bake, or an oyster fest. Clam bake. I always get that. Lobster fest.
Same difference.
Okay. It's going to be shellfish. It's going to be at the airport. And, you know, some towns we're doing like a black tie formal event or a gala. We decided not to do that. We want to do something a little more casual, where more people would be able to attend and try to keep the price down. We are getting sponsors to help offset any costs regarding the events. I know after the parade we're going to do some historic reenactments. We're going to have some Revolutionary soldiers and some Civil War soldiers that are going to be doing some reenactments. But it's going to all be about Stratford. We're tying in all our festivals, the Main Street Festival, the Pumpkin Festival, Blues on the Beach. It's all going to have a 375th theme. So we're not only going to celebrate our history, but we're also going to have fun doing it. And David, right, Dave, where are you? There you go, right in front of me. No, what the heck is this? No, you've seen David in a tie, and I noticed him with the hat. I saw you walking around before. Or a bird. David's a big bird watcher. It does our bird festival in years past. But David's been great. He does our IT for the town of Stratford, but he updates the web constantly by putting photos on, bringing up points of interest and history that have occurred. David, thank you so much that you do, and thanks for helping out. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And it is a special time, and Stratford's a special place. And Stratford isn't the same place it was 25, 50 years ago. Things are changing, but the whole state is changing too. I can tell you right now that as your mayor, one of the things I'm most proudest of is, of course, to serve you, and I truly am, but also being part of the changes that are taking place. We're going to start expanding the train station. The airport safety zone is going to be put in down the airport. Main Street's going to be redone. The Army engine plant, I mean, gosh, the history there, you know, regarding Sikorsky's first flight, for building the Corsair fighter, to the engines for Huey helicopters, to the most recent thing was the M1 Abrams tank engine. There was a lot of history there, but times changed. So the challenges as a community is how do we change with them? And we now have a developer that's taken over the Army engine plant. They're going to be doing a big commercial mixed-use development. So essentially we could be looking at a whole new downtown area in a different section of town. Stratford Center, we're looking at redoing some areas down here, hopefully bringing some housing elements, but also realizing that we have a balance because we have a lot of older homes and we have a lot of history that we're trying to preserve. And we're one of the few towns that we're lucky enough not to be burned by the British. And we have a lot of old homes here, particularly the Perry House, that we're able to restore and keep going. So we have a rich tradition, and we're changing, which I believe is for the better. So I want to make sure that everyone has a good time. I know that this Thursday, Stephanie Phillips asked me to do a little pitch for her. The Army Jazz Band is coming to Benel High School this Thursday at 7 p.m. We have tickets if people are interested, and it's free, so there's no charge. So we are sensitive to that too, so we're trying to keep things open to the public so everyone can participate, everyone can have a good time. So if anyone has any ideas about what we should do, let us know. Let Amy know, let Mary Dean know, and you know, we'll try to incorporate it into this year. So we're going to have a lot of fun. One of the things we did is we have a grand marshal for our parade, and I'm honored to announce that person will be Todd Lovell. Todd, unfortunately, is not with us this afternoon, but his lovely wife, Carol, is here. And Carol, why don't you come on up and say a few words for us?
All the way up.
You're the Grand Marshal's wife.
I'm the
Grand Marshal's wife.
Oh. Hi, Grand Marshal, period, let me just say.
Sorry, Dave.
I just have a short thing to say to you about the H.C. Lovell Company, which is no longer in operation. So I'm going to start. In 1983, Lovell Hardware, which used to be in Stratford Center, as you may know, celebrated 200 years in business. At the end of the American Revolution, in 1783, the store began. It closed in 1999 after 216 years. In the late 1800s, L.H. Todd Company moved from East Broadway at the site of the past, present, Center School location. It moved to Stratford Center. In 1900, Rosella Todd Lovell asked her son, Harold C. Lovell, my father-in-law, Todd's father, to run the failing business. As a first move, he introduced plumbing and heating to the ailing hardware business. Well, business started coming in from all over Fairfield County, and the L.H. Todd Company soon became the H.C. Lovell Company. The Lovell Building, which you see now, construction was begun in 1919 and was completed in 1921, at which time the three-story building was the largest in Stratford, and Harold C. Lovell was the largest single taxpayer. In 1979, there was a disastrous flood in the center of Stratford Center, and 4 feet of water covered the main floor of the H.C. Lovell Hardware Company. All of Stratford Center was, quote, underwater. You may remember it. 2 centuries of service to the community was cause for celebration in 1983. In 1999, Lovell Hardware Store closed, one of the oldest, if not the oldest hardware store in the country. And as the mayor said, Todd is not well and is in Lord Chamberlain Nursing Home and will be there for a little while. And I couldn't let this opportunity go without my saying something on behalf of Lovell Hardware. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce State Representative Laura Hoydick. Laura, you want to say a few words?
I'd like to say a few words about Perry House. And I'd like to say a few words about the 375th and Perry House. As the oldest house in Stratford, it's a wonderful place to have this celebration and start the kickoff. As you can see, we're in a little bit of disarray. We would have loved to have it perfect for everyone, but we're working really hard on it, as we have been for the last 8 years, 9 years. It seems forever. We seem to go in these cycles where we work on projects for 8 years at a clip. But anyway, we're getting there. And as you mentioned before, without the mayor, I know Dave, you said this, without the mayor, we wouldn't have had the money for the addition, and without the town council, we would not have had the extra money that we needed, and so we are very, very thankful. And we're really, really honored to be part of this celebration and the start of the celebration, so thank you all.
And now we're going to go outside and do the official ribbon cutting to kick off our 375th anniversary. So